Hello and welcome to Ask Amanda Now. I'm your host. Yes, I am a strata lawyer, kind of in disguise today. Got my Christmas best on. I am Amanda Farmer. We are going out live to the Your Strata Property Facebook page. We're heading out to LinkedIn. We are heading out to YouTube. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy festive season, however you are planning to spend it. It is our last live session for 2024. Yes, it is an Ask Amanda Now session. One strata question answered for you. This is the last business day, I'm going to say, of the year for so many of you. I know lots more auto replies after we sent our email out this afternoon than we would usually receive, which is fantastic to see. Many strata managers, many owners, many people taking the day off, taking the afternoon off. We have also here at Lawyers Chambers officially closed up the legal practice. That's a wrap on Lawyers Chambers for 2024. But if you do need any strata assistance over the break, any strata emergencies, there is a way that you can get my support. I'll let you know where to go to secure that shortly. So it is Friday. The work for the year is done for most of us. You've now got 4 days to get Christmas planned. Get it all done. Get the Christmas shopping done. Get the lunch ready. Get the house in order for the family that is about to descend. If you're anything like me and my family, we have many, many family members heading this way early next week. We're going to be hosting for Christmas, for New Year. It's going to be busy times here for us for a little while. Lots of you coming in to join me for this last session of the year. Sean M saying hi and ho, ho, ho. How you doing, Sean? Sean O is here as well. Happy Christmas to you too, Sean O. Oh, Sean saying lots of protesting about petrol prices in Mudgee. Yeah. We definitely have the tourist tax on the petrol prices here in Mudgee. I joke that, many of you know that 4 years ago, I moved from Bondi to Mudgee. And I joke in my family that we went from one top tourist destination in Australia to another. And we've just been paying the tourist tax for like the last 10 years. We're kind of used to it. But yeah, the residents here have been the last few months protesting about the petrol prices. I just make sure that I fill up when I'm out of town. Hey, Suzanne, good afternoon. Merry Christmas. Safe and healthy New Year to you too as well. Hey, Wendy. I love seeing you guys welcome each other and say hello to each other, whether you're getting to know each other here on this platform or you work together offline. I love seeing that, Suzanne and Sean. Sean's telling me that he's visiting his son and his wife's family for Christmas lunch and your granddaughter's first Christmas. Oh, so lovely. It's so wonderful to have little ones around at Christmas time. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Susan. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, in addition to bringing my Santa hat, I have brought the answer to one strata question here for you this afternoon. We are going to get into that. I did hint in my email today that if you gave me a bit of a Christmas theme or a bit of a Christmas slant to your question, then you might be more likely to be the one question chosen to be answered today. And I loved your efforts. I really loved your efforts. I loved in particular someone who made the effort of saying, Amanda, I need a Christmas miracle. I need a Christmas miracle. This is the solution I need in my strata building right now. How do I get that? Can you bring me that Christmas miracle? I like that. Very, very clever. Not the one that I have chosen today. Let's bring it up. Rochelle, bring up our banner here. The question I have chosen today is Rob's question. Rob is asking, is it okay to have a small Christmas tree on a table with lights? There are lights on this small Christmas tree in the common property lobby area. The tree has been placed there by a resident. Great question. And there's a bit of value in this question, Rob, because while you've ticked the box here, hitting the Christmas theme and going to have your question answered for this particular situation, there's also a wider question to be answered here, all about additions to the common property and whether or not residents can make their own additions to the common property without seeking approval. And if they want to do that, how they might go about it. So, great question that not only ticks our Christmas theme box, but is also a nice strata question all round. And hey, this comes up. It does come up. I raised it, planted the seed maybe a little bit last week, putting it out there. Hey, is anybody getting any pushback about Christmas decorations or lights or even noise, or what's going on in your buildings? How might your buildings recognize or celebrate the festive season? Do you guys put anything up in your lobbies? I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I recently visited a building in Sydney CBD to attend an AGM for one of my clients. I was attending as their proxy holder, and I went into the building, gorgeous building, beautiful lobby, and there was a huge Christmas tree put up there in the lobby, obviously something organized by the owners corporation or by building management, and it was just gorgeous. They had lights, decorations, really, really wonderful festive feel to the lobby. But what if, Rob's situation, there's a resident who just they want to take matters into their own hands, put up their own decorations, whether that's Christmas tree, whether that's lights or other things on the common property. Are they able to do that? More of you coming in and saying, hi, hey, Bill and Ben. Sean M is saying, are Christmas lights on the balcony considered in keeping with the external appearance of the building? Well, here's the thing. Are we talking about the external appearance of the building in the week before Christmas? Because maybe those lights will be in keeping if we have other residents who are putting lights up and putting trees up in keeping with the building at another time of the year. Maybe not. Might depend what's going on. That often comes up in the context of air conditioning units, where you might have a split system air conditioning unit and an owner decides to install one for their lot, and the objection is raised, hey, this affects the external appearance of the building. You need a different type of approval when that is happening. And the resident says, well, hang on a second, there's 20 other air conditioning units on this side of the building. My unit is actually in keeping with all of those other air conditioning units. So it is a really valid point, and a question that the tribunal, if the case was to go that far, would have to grapple with. We're talking about what the building looks like right now in its current state. Is it in keeping with the other air conditioning units that are on the building? It may well be. Ready Strata Management is here saying, loving the festive Christmas hat. Thank you very much, Ready Strata. And look, we don't want to be too grinchy about this, right? So I want to start from a place of saying, let's hold this question a little bit lightly. Rob has said this is a small Christmas tree on the table. It's not the complete overhaul of the common property lobby that might otherwise be happening in some buildings. Let's hold this one lightly. There are some interesting and important points of law that we are going to talk about, but I will certainly today not be advocating for committee members or strata managers or building managers to be grinchy or humbuggy about this type of addition to the common property. Sean M saying, is it obstructing an exit in the case of a fire? Yes, each situation may need to be considered on its own facts, Sean. Jan saying, Merry Christmas to all. Many thanks to Amanda for all assistance. You are more than welcome. Jan, Michelle is here. How you doing? Saying, dressed like that, you better be going to sing a Christmas carol for us. Ain't going to happen. Michelle, we might have to bring you on as a special guest at some point to share your talents with us. I am not your singer, that's for sure. Denise saying Merry Christmas. Hey, Dave. Hey, Sydney resident, and Merry Christmas to you. Awesome. Fantastic to have you all here. Yes, I am going to share my thoughts on this question for you. Rob posted this one here on the Facebook page. So, Rob, if you're here tuning in, a special hello, and feel free to add any more comments. So I have already hinted that this question is really a broader question about alterations and additions to the common property. Is approval required when residents are adding to the common property? The short, boring answer to that is yes. And when we're talking about additions like, I'm going to say like a Christmas tree, additions like decorations, additions that might not necessarily be in keeping with the appearance of the building, we're generally going to be talking about an approval under Section 108 of the New South Wales Strata legislation. Rochelle's got a link here for you that she'll pop into the comments for us. Section 108 says that if an owner is going to add to the common property, alter the common property, erect a new structure on the common property, not sure we're talking about Christmas trees when we're talking about erecting new structures on the common property, then they do need the approval of the owners corporation, and that approval needs to be given by way of special resolution at a general meeting. Now, there are exemptions for that approval when we're talking about purely cosmetic work. You might be technically adding to or altering the common property when you're painting the interior of your lot, when you are replacing carpet, when you are hanging up a painting inside your lot and you're putting a hook or a screw through a common property wall. Technically altering the common property, but we do have exemptions in our legislation that says that's just purely cosmetic work, so we don't need any approval for that. If it's minor work, we're renovating a kitchen, maybe we are installing an air conditioning unit and we're not affecting the external appearance of the building, that's going to fall into the category of minor work. We need an ordinary resolution at a general meeting to approve minor work, or if your strata committee has been delegated the authority to approve minor work, then your strata committee can approve minor work. But we have items that change the external appearance of the building, that affect waterproofing, that affect the structure of the building, then we are in that Section 108 category of needing a special resolution to approve that work. We might just bring that question back up onto the screen here, Rochelle, so that those joining us know what I'm talking about and why I seem to be talking so seriously when I am wearing a Santa hat. Yes, it is Christmas. Yes, it is the last working day of the year for so many, but we are here answering serious, important strata questions. Rob has asked, is it okay to have a small Christmas tree on a table with lights? We've got lights here, remember? We might be using some power for these lights in the common property lobby area. The tree has been placed there by a resident. So I've said, look, technically, legally, in a Grinchy kind of way, yes, we do need approval. Residents do need approval if they're going to add to the common property in this way, whether it's a tree this month, maybe in a couple of months' time, it's a coffee table or a side table with a bunch of flowers or a lamp. I've known that to happen in buildings before. It's generally not okay for owners, for residents to be deciding to furnish the common property lobby or the hallways or the area outside their front door that is common property without getting the approval of the owners corporation. On this point about cosmetic work, potentially cosmetic work, and I mentioned hanging up paintings, putting hooks, nails, or screws through common walls to hang paintings. I once had a client who decided that they were going to improve the common area hallways on their level of a multi-story building by putting some artwork up in the hallways. And they put that artwork up, common property hallway, they chose the artwork, didn't seek the approval of the owners corporation, and the owners corporation on the instructions of the committee then wrote and said, no, you can't just hang pictures in the common property hallway without approval. And the question that my client came to me with was, Amanda, well, hang on a second. Section 109 in our Strata Schemes Management Act says that the installation of hooks, nails, screws for the purpose of hanging paintings and other things on walls is cosmetic work for which no approval is required. That's what I've done. I've put a hook in a wall, common property wall, for the purpose of hanging a painting. Isn't that cosmetic work? Nothing in section 109 says that it's only cosmetic work if I do it within the airspace of my own lot. Nothing says I can't do that in the common property hallway. Really, really great point. And I think there's an argument there. I really think there's an argument that if we're just hanging up a picture in the common property hallway, then perhaps that's okay as cosmetic work under section 109. You might be faced with the same question that we're now talking about today, whether we're changing the external appearance of the building or the external appearance of the lot by hanging these things up or placing these things in the common area. But you might be able to work up an argument that hanging paintings, whether they are inside your lot or in the common property hallway, is cosmetic work for which no approval is required. Bit of a scary thought maybe for some strata managers, for some committee members, to think that residents could just start hanging up their own choice of artwork according to their own tastes in the hallways. Be interested to know if anybody's encountered that one before. Lots of you here live and posting fast and furiously here in the comments. Sydney residents saying, if Father Christmas is caught in the lift, is he considered to be a trespasser? Yeah, that's a great question. Let me know if you encounter that problem, Sydney resident, and how you deal with that one. Steve saying, dogs and noise in units. Do non-dog owners have any rights over noise? Interesting question, Steve. I'm going to stick with Christmas trees for now. Sean M, I think, replying there to our Father Christmas point, to Sydney residents' Father Christmas point. Sean O saying, what if people who don't celebrate Christmas object to the Christmas decorations? Interesting that you raised that, Sean O, because that was also raised. I've given you just the little snapshot of Rob's question here. But Rob did say in his longer post that's here on the page, question any argument for religious reasons. And I think that's what you're getting at here, Sean, as well, whether somebody's put something up for religious reasons or whether someone may have an objection for religious reasons. It's a good point. And there's nothing really in our strata schemes legislation that interacts with that issue. We don't think about or ask questions about rights or responsibilities. When we're talking about additions or alterations to the common property, we're being quite high level in talking about, is it structural? Is it waterproofing? Is it changing external appearance? We don't kind of get into those questions about particular owners' preferences, let's say. We may get into those questions if we start looking at discrimination law, state-based discrimination law, starting from the point of whether or not that applies inside a private property, which a strata building is, and then interacting, if we decide it does apply, interacting with those questions of whether by refusing somebody's addition to the common property, you may be discriminating on the grounds of religious belief, which is illegal in this country. Not a question that I'm going to attempt to answer today with my very serious Santa hat on, but it's definitely something that Rob has acknowledged. Maybe some people may have a religious view about decorations one way or the other. I could definitely see how that comes up. The other question that Rob raised is legal and insurance issues, liability issues around these types of items being placed on the common property. I think Sean M might have raised this as well. Where is this tree being placed? Are we blocking an entrance or an exit, maybe a fire entrance or some fire exit path with these kinds of items? That's definitely a relevant consideration. And if anything, whether it's a tree, a decoration, or an owner's item anywhere on the common property is obstructing an entrance and exit or a path to safely exit in the case of fire, then I would be absolutely encouraging an owners corporation, a committee, a strata manager to make sure that that item is moved, safety first. And yes, could impact the owners corporation's insurance and their public liability responsibilities. Each situation We really, in these kinds of questions, need to be looking at the particular circumstances. This is a small Christmas tree. It's on a table. Is the table already there and someone's just put it out? It's not in anybody's way. It's not harming anybody. I would like to think that that's something that would be allowed to remain there for the season. Better yet, if this is a building where residents want to express their celebration, want to be festive, want to have decorations around the building. As I mentioned at the top of this chat, there are some buildings that arrange that for their residents, that have the Christmas tree up, that may arrange lights and other decorations for the season. That's generally the better way, I suggest, to go about these things, rather than having residents adding to and altering the common property in the way they like, as they like, and leaving you with these uncertain questions of liability and responsibility, especially if something is broken, if power is being used, the owner's corporation's power is being used without its permission. You can understand how other residents who are contributing to that power bill, who have known nothing about this addition, have seen minutes of a meeting approving this addition, may have a concern about that. Heading back over to those comments, bit of discussion happening within those comments there. Henry saying, Merry Christmas, Amanda. Maybe you need a Santa Claus in the bylaws dealing with Christmas decorations. I like that. Tim says, and Santa stop here signs as well. You got some of those going on. Do you as well, Tim? Merry Christmas to you, Petra. Sean saying, if Santa falls off the roof, there's no OHS report or warning signs. Is the owner's corporation responsible for his workers' comp? Yeah, see, I don't know that anybody's covering this off in their work health and safety reports, Sean. Thanks for reminding us of that. And if there's no roof anchors, we've really opened up a can of worms here, haven't we? Ready Strata saying, I doubt that the presence of fake trees, shiny baubles, men in red suits claiming to be the real Santa can be taken as offensive. Regardless of religious beliefs, we can all celebrate a time of spending time with family and loved ones and appreciate the blessings and good fortunes we have. What a lovely way to put that, Ready Strata. Yes, I love that. I'm wondering if the question about religious beliefs and discrimination is coming from the angle of, if an owner's corporation was to say no, you can't have these things. Completely agree with you. Wherever we can find room to allow people to be able to express themselves in this way, in a way that is inclusive and safe for everybody, we should try and find those ways. And these questions of discrimination on the grounds of religious belief, if a building is saying no to certain additions to the common property, which is not just limited to Christmas time and Christmas decorations, other additions to the common property to express people's beliefs, that does certainly come up. Whether saying no would be discriminatory. Good question. Not one that we're going to be able to answer here today. Suzanne agreeing with Ready Strata there. I love that. All right. So discussion there in answer to Rob. Short answer, yeah, technically permission is needed. Is it really hurting anybody? I'd like to think that nobody's bending over backwards to issue bylaw breach or nasty letters to this particular resident who may have this Christmas tree set up. If it's going to be around come second week, third week, last week of January, we might want to be reminding that resident to remove that particular item. As we started out today, acknowledging that this is the last day of the year for so many of you, last working day of the year, I'm going to say, for so many of you. It is also the last working day of the year for us in our legal practice. Podcast last week. This week was our last week of sending out the podcast. We're taking a couple of weeks off. New podcast episode out on the week of 6th of Jan is the plan. And I do hope to be back here with you in 2 weeks' time. Friday, the 10th of Jan is scheduled in for our next live session. If you aren't yet following our Facebook page, connected with me on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that so that you'll get notified when we are next going live. Surprisingly, to me, I thought you'd sort of all be off on your Christmas lunches and logged off for the holiday season. Lots of you had questions, not all of them Christmas related, but lots of you had questions this week. If you didn't get your question answered, if you feel like you are a bit anxious about going into the break without your Strata support, whether that's from your Strata manager or being here with us weekly on a Friday Live or getting the podcast to your inbox for a couple of weeks, then our online Q&A forum is always available to the members inside the Your Strata Property online membership community. I've said a couple of times now that we break in our legal practice, take some time off there. We let our clients know that we're not around for a few weeks. The doors to our Q&A forum, to our member platform, don't close over the break. If you are a member and you've had a question for today that hasn't been answered, a number of members posted their questions, or you're catching up over the break and going through that inbox and trying to solve some of those Strata problems that have built up over the last couple of months, feel free to post your questions inside our members Q&A forum. If you're not yet a member, then not to worry. It's easy to join us. Just head over to stratamembership.com. You can get instant access to our forum and all of our membership benefits, and make sure that you'll have access to me over the break. If you want to do a little bit of summer schooling, if you want to catch up on some webinars that we've been running throughout this year, they're all there in our libraries for our members. I know a lot of people use that. I do with some of my professional development, use this time over the break to catch up on those helpful educational opportunities so you can improve your Strata knowledge, get ready to tackle your 2025 in Strata head on. Jump in to stratamembership.com. I'd love to welcome you over there over the break. Special thank yous to the Your Strata Property team that makes everything work so smoothly for everybody throughout the year. Rochelle is here, as always, on a Friday afternoon, helping us out. She is often in your inboxes. You're reaching out to her when you need tech support. Thank you very much, Rochelle, for your help through 2024 and all of the years before. Michelle S., who I saw earlier, was tuning in. Thank you, Michelle S., for your support. To Scott, to Francis, to Podcast Pete, Michelle R., Donna, that is the team working away in the background. Thank you very much for 2024. To all of our members, clients, colleagues, friends, I wish everyone a safe, restful, fun-filled, festive season. Enjoy this time with those you love. See you all back here in 2025. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy festive season, happy downtime, lying on the beach, however it is that you enjoy this time of year. I look forward to catching up with you all next year. Bye for now.